There are some Pokemon theories that fans used to joke about, the kind of wild ideas that circulated on old message boards, early YouTube, and playground conversations. Except, over the years, Game Freak slowly started confirming them. Not in big dramatic statements, but quietly, through Pokedex entries, subtle lore drops, and entire story arcs that lined up perfectly with what fans had once thought were ridiculous theories. And some of these are pretty dark. From a beloved pink fairy type whose ghost may be still haunting the world, to a child's Pokemon whose entire story is built on death and grief, to the disastrous 3,000-year war that wiped out thousands, maybe millions of Pokemon, and even the idea that humans and Pokemon used to be the same species. These aren't jokes, these aren't creepypasta, these are real canon-supported Pokemon theories that turned out to be true. What's going on, guys? It's Dan or A-Drive, and today we're gonna dive into some of the darkest Pokemon fan theories ever made, except they're not just theories anymore. They're backed up by in-game lore, Pokedex entries, and in some cases even developer commentary. If you're into deep dive Pokemon content like this, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more epic Pokemon commentaries just like this one. And let me know in the comments which theory is your favorite. Now let's get into the one that started this all. Is Gengar actually just dead Clefable? This is one of the oldest theories in Pokemon history, and honestly, still one of the most convincing. The idea is simple but chilling. Gengar is literally the ghost or shadow of a Clefable that died. Let's break down the evidence. Start with their silhouettes. Gengar and Clefable share nearly identical body shapes, same ear position, same stubby arms, same round body, and the same three-toed feet. When you overlay their Gen 1 sprites, they match almost perfectly. And that's not where this ends. Gengar's official species classification is the Shadow Pokemon. Shadow of what? The Pokedex never says, but it heavily implies it's the shadow of something that was once alive. In Legends Arceus, Gengar's Dex entry goes a step further. It emerges from the shadows to mimic the living. That's disturbingly specific. So Gengar isn't just a ghost, it mimics living creatures. And which living creature does its shape match most closely to? Clefable, of course. Even the typing lines up in a weirdly poetic way. Clefable is normal fairy, and Gengar is ghost poison, and ghost moves don't affect normal Pokemon. It's like Gengar literally cannot attack its former self. This isn't officially confirmed, but the sheer amount of smoke around this theory makes it one of the most plausible and unsettling fan theories ever created. Cubone's mother is always dead. Cubone's story is one of the most heartbreaking in the entire franchise, and it's not a theory anymore, it's simply canon. In Lavender Town, the ghost blocking your path is explicitly identified as the restless spirit of Cubone's mother. This implies every Cubone's mother dies. The Pokedex reinforces it across many generations. Cubone wears its mother's skull, it cries when thinking of her, its tears leave permanent marks on the skull, and as Cubone grows, the skull changes shape to fit. And Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee push this even further with a full cinematic cutscene showing the Marowak ghost protecting Cubone from Team Rocket. Cubone's entire identity is grief. It's one of the darkest core species concepts Pokemon has ever created. Poor little Cubone never actually gets to enjoy its mother because it's dead this whole time. There's some really interesting stuff around Kangaskhan. Maybe we should explore that in another video. Drifloon, Phantump, and Yamask. These are Pokemon that are connected to dead children. The fact that multiple Pokemon lines are tied directly to dead children is genuinely disturbing. Drifloon, for example, says it tries to lure children to the afterlife, and children who grab onto it often disappear. This isn't subtext, this is explicit from the games. This is some creepy stuff. Phantump formed when the spirit of a child who died in the forest possesses a rotten tree stump. The Pokedex describes its cries as eerily childlike. This is a kid's game, people. Yamask. Each Yamask carries a mask that represents its former human's face. It remembers everything from its human life. This implies that humans can die and become Pokemon, human memories can persist in Pokemon, and Pokemon ghosts aren't just monsters, they're people. For a kid's game, this is as dark as it gets, and I just want to reiterate, this is a kid's game, and this stuff is in the game. This is some wild stuff. If you had young kids, would you let them read these entries? I don't know. Up next is the Evolutions who died in the Burn Tower. For years, fans believed that the three legendary beasts, Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, were originally a Jolteon, Flareon, and Vaporeon that died in the Burn Tower. Heart Gold and Soul Silver basically confirmed the entire event. In Heart Gold Soul Silver, the games explained that 3 Pokemon died in the Tower of Fire, Ho-Oh resurrected them, and they became the legendary beasts. The games never named the species, but everything points to the evolutions. The typings match up perfectly. Jolteon, Flareon, and Vaporeon were the only elemental trio in Gen 2. Their body shapes share Eevee's proportions, and Pokemon Crystal states that they were the ordinary Pokemon before the fire. Fans speculated it, and Game Freak confirmed 90% of it. The only missing piece is officially naming them, something they've never done, possibly to keep the mystery intact, but yes, Suicune might have originally just been someone's pet Vaporeon. That's pretty wild to think about. Number 5 is a little crazy that humans and Pokemon used to be the same species. This theory sounds insane until you read the actual Sinnoh myth texts. In the Canalave library, there were no differences between humans and Pokemon. They ate the same food, lived in the same places. This is canon, not metaphor, not story, canon, Sinnoh, history. Legends Arceus reinforces it as well, as multiple Pokemon behave like humans. Several lines share direct physical similarities with people, and humans and Pokemon show parallel evolutions and behaviors. This implies humans and Pokemon share a common ancestor, or were literally the same species at some point in ancient history. This is pretty wild stuff. The idea that humans and Pokemon were once one thing and then kind of converged off, and now the humans end up, training the Pokemon. This is some crazy stuff, but it's pretty much confirmed in the games. The Great Pokémon War is one of the biggest mysteries of the Pokemon franchise, and Lieutenant Surge may have just served in that war. For years, fans pointed to Lieutenant Surge's dialogue in Generation 1 and said there must have been a war. Surge says, "I fought in a war. My Pokemon saved my life." Combine that with Kanto's weird population, which features tons of children and lots of old people, and almost no middle-aged adults, it looks like society is recovering from a conflict. The war theory isn't a theory anymore, and we know that there's been some crazy mass genocides that have taken place. AZ's ultimate weapon, of course, the culprit. Pokemon X and Y revealed one of the darkest confirmed events ever. AZ, grieving the death of his Floette, built a machine to revive it, but then he fired the weapon again, and that second blast killed countless Pokemon, ending a massive war. The aftermath? Entire regions scarred, stones scattered across Kalos, and Pokemon lore altered forever. This is explicitly stated in the game, and it is shockingly grim. It was pretty cool that in Legends EA, we were able to dive a little bit deeper into AZ's story and uncover a little bit more of that mystery, but nonetheless, some pretty crazy stuff happened in Kalos. This is one of my personal favorites, that Parasect is a zombie controlled by its fungus. I've always wanted the Mega Parasect. Paris and Parasect are one of the clearest real-world horror analogs in Pokemon. Paris is still alive and it's still fighting its fungus, but Parasect, according to Ultra Sun, the bug has been drained of all vitality. The mushroom appears to be the true body. The parasite fully controls the host. The bug is essentially dead, just being piloted. This is directly based on Cordyceps fungus in real life, a parasite that takes over insects and then controls them like puppets. I would love a Mega Parasect or a Parasect evolution that becomes a ghost type. This just feels like a no-brainer to me. In our world, many people believe in heaven and hell, but in the Pokemon world, is there a hell? Well, it might just be the Distortion World after all. Platinum introduced one of the creepiest places in Pokemon, the Distortion World. It has no gravity, it breaks physics, it has floating terrain, and it behaves like a twisted mirror of reality. Giratina is the embodiment of antimatter. It's banished for its violence, and it exists in the reverse side of the world. Developers have described Giratina as symbolizing chaos, death, and the world's rejected aspects. No, the games never say hell, but symbolically, it's the closest thing the Pokemon universe has to one. Listen, Pokemon may look bright and cheerful on the surface, but once you dig a little bit deeper, it becomes clear that it's filled with darkness, tragedy, unexplained mysteries, and stories that are far more mature than people actually realize. From ghostly shadows to lost children to ancient wars and parasitic zombies, the Pokemon world isn't just about catching them all. It's a world with secrets. Some of them are pretty haunting. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it down below and let me know which of these theories is your favorite. And don't forget to subscribe. A lot of people don't subscribe, and they should, because we're making some amazing content here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.